Mindfulness beginning. Hi, welcome to another segment of the Virtual Leadership Summit, Seeking the Path. You know, I woke up this morning and I went, oh, why am I calling it Seeking the Path? I shouldn't be calling it that. That implies we never get there, right? I'm thinking I should call it We Sought the Path and We Got the Path. But too late, I've already called it that and there's only this interview left, so we're just gonna have to go with it. However, I do want you to think about it for a second, because the words you use create the brain science that happens for you. So your hormones and all of the structural ability, I'm not making sense. The brain broad, Lynette Louise, is not making sense. I'm gonna rewind that and say that properly because it's really important. The definitions you use tell your brain how to behave. So if you say, I'm seeking the path, or I deserve the pursuit of happiness, what you're saying is, please brain, as soon as I'm almost happy, just stop me and give me a problem. And it will. So the hormones that are released always correlate with what you say to yourself. Your self-talk matters. And it matters in business too. It matters in leading. It matters in marketing. Oh, look how I segued into marketing. Before I introduce you to today's guest, who knows all about marketing in a very special way and is the only one I've invited on who's all about marketing. He's about more, but you know, that's what we're going to talk about. I want to give you my marketing commercial. So here I am. This is my new book, The 7 Senses of Leadership, Brain Broad's Guide to Leadership Sensibilities. I'm the Brain Broad, otherwise known as Lynette Louise. And this is a book you really want to get, because right now, people are very confused about what's important as it comes in and how it gets rewritten inside of you so that you believe misinformation. If you understand how the information gets in and how it gets out, you'll be able to change that. And I myth bust, and I tell you about leaders, and I do all that fun stuff too. It's on Amazon, it's on my website, LynetteLouise.com, it's on Barnes & Noble, it's everywhere, and it's with my publisher, Motivational Press. Commercial over. All right, now it is time to talk to Craig Duswalt, who just popped into the screen there, and he is so fun. So you're in for a real treat. I first met him when I was at a seminar or an event, and he's called the Rockstar for a reason. You'll hear about it. The Rockstar marketer. And he is truly the king of all the people I've met, of all the marketers and creators and coaches and leaders. He is the king in my book of letting you be who you are, of finding your individual voice and making it loud. So hello, Craig. It's so lovely to have you here.
I love that whole thing that you just did. That was so good. No, it really, really was. I was listening going, wow, she knows what she's doing. That's good stuff. Well, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. We've literally been chasing each other, trying to make this happen, people.
I've had the craziest 3 weeks. I apologize. I went to my boot camp, and then I went to a trip with my younger son for 5 days in Arizona with 250 kids the day after my boot camp. Then I went to Arizona to speak at Joe Polis's event, and I just got back late last night, and here we are. You're the first person I've talked to outside of my family.
Well, that makes me very important, and it makes the audience very important. And here's what's so great that you just explained all that. Let's talk about that. How do you handle doing, because you do a lot.
I do.
You do a lot. You know, I do a lot, you do a lot. Yeah, and we have family. So, yeah. So how do you do that? How do you prioritize? How do you choose? How do you make it all work so that nobody's sort of penalized for the fact that,
I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy. I just, like I said, so it started like in the summer. Here's what I do. I take off the summer pretty much. So my kids are home during the summer. So during the summer, I take off. So I'll do a speaking gig once in a while, but I don't do any boot camps in my seminars. So I'm very available during the summer, and I take off during December during the holidays, and I am very available then. The other times, I make it a conscious effort. Like my wife and I go to the gym in the morning, and then we go to breakfast. And then I work, and then the kids come home, and it's all about the kids till about 8 or 9 o'clock. And then from 9 o'clock to 1 in the morning, I do my work. I find creative time. I sleep very little, which is not good, but it helps me get a lot done because I do focus on spending time with the family. It's very hard but I do it.
Okay, let's talk about myth busting. So there's this whole belief out there about how much sleep you need to get, yada, 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 and how you go about getting. Okay, there's a lady, really quickly, I could tell this is long, but we got to do it short. There was a lady, she was in her 90s, late 90s. They did a study on her because she slept 1 hour a day.
Wow.
So they did a sleep study and they're like, it's gotta be hurting you. I'm thinking she's in her 90s. How bad can it be? So, but they discovered that if life's interesting, like when you're doing a sleep study, she only sleeps every second day. And she actually in 1 hour got all the way into REM sleep and processed everything and was never negatively affected by this. So I hold that different story up to say, if you do well, you don't need it more than you're getting it.
I agree. So everyone says you need 8 hours sleep. I guess that's the standard. I get 5, and I have the most energy in the world, I think, and I only have 5 hours of sleep. So I'm okay with it. Now, my wife says, like, when I'm on my computer and doing work, like, I do this, and I fall asleep sometimes, like, during the middle of the day. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I wish I could take a nap, but I never do. But 5 hours is good for me.
Sounds like you are taking a nap right at the computer. You're doing a quick, let me go get the information that's hiding inside my sleep state.
There you go. Yeah. I do that.
Okay, so let's myth bust. I just myth busted a little brain stuff. Myth bust with me a little bit about marketing. Let's hit on some myths.
Well, first of all, there's a myth out there that you don't need marketing, I guess, because a lot of people don't do it. So they feel I'm going to open my business and everything's going to be great. I'm going to spend all this money on my products and services and get everything ready, spend a lot of money on my website, do everything, and then just assume that, that everyone's going to come to their website and buy their stuff. So the myth is they don't need to spend a lot of money on marketing. Whereas, like, I was just at a seminar for the last 2 days, and Brendan Bouchard, we all know Brendan Bouchard, he's spending thousands of dollars a day on Facebook ads. And that's why he has 4 million people on Facebook, because he's spending the money. So a lot of people feel, I don't need to spend any money. If I just do this, this, and this, I'll get the word out there and people will just come flock to me.
You mean you don't just put your name on the marquee and everybody shows up?
We would love to think that, wouldn't we? No. And I do that. And I put my name on the marquee because I speak a lot. I speak a lot of places. But I found this past year, the last boot camp I had that you were at 2 weeks ago is my lowest attended boot camp I've ever had. There were like 225 people, and I'm used to 350 to 500. So what happened was I got so used to speaking all the time that I got very comfortable in my marketing. And I didn't do the basic stuff that I had been doing for years and years and years. So I'm on fire right now. I just built a studio in my garage, YouTube/podcast studio. I'm going to go back to the basics of podcasting, blogging, videos, and doing all those things because I need 500 people at my boot camp in March. I will not have 200 people anymore. Not happening.
Meanwhile, I remember my first event, there were 6 people and I was so excited.
Yeah.
So everything is relative, right? I really want to hit on what you just said because it was really cool. Leaders are always learning, and also we forget stuff. Sometimes we're learning stuff and then we leave behind what we already knew, and you have to go back and pick it up again, right?
Yeah, I am a firm believer in going to seminars all the time. I learn all the time. Like, you could argue, I could argue, we could argue that I know a lot. I know a lot about marketing. I truly do. But sometimes, and I pretty much know, I would assume I know everything about marketing, right? Everything about marketing. However, I don't do everything that I know because I don't have time, or I've forgotten, I should do that. So I go to these seminars sometimes to be reminded what I already know and what's working. And yeah, that's the mark of a great leader, is they're willing to say, you know what, forgot about that, haven't been doing that, I'm going to go do that now. And I go to seminars all the time. I speak at a lot, but I actually did speak at this one. But I went to this seminar thinking to myself, I'm going to learn for 2 days from very, very high-end people. I mean, the CEO of Whole Foods was there, Brendan Bouchard, Dean Graziosi, who's tops in the industry as well. We had Damon John from Shark Tank and Jay Abraham, like the guru of marketing. And I just went to just be a sponge and just absorb all this new stuff. even though I know it all, you know, but I mean, I'm reminded, oh, wow, I have not done that stuff yet, or I haven't used that wording when I'm positioning myself. So I learn all the time.
Right, and every place you are on the path, since we're talking about on the path,
Yeah.
every place you are on the path requires a sort of a different perspective, a different using of the skills you already know, correct?
Yeah, and what you just said in the beginning, you said this is called seeking, right? But I'm seeking all the time, and you just said I shouldn't call it seeking. Well, actually, you should call it seeking, because we are. If we stop continuing to try to seek, then I feel we're dead. You know, you need to keep learning and keep finding out new stuff, and we don't know anything, really. No one knows anything. You know.
I agree. I like playing with it, because I think, you know, sometimes I say we should call it grab and go, grab and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to imply constant momentum forward, or you're right, we atrophy.
Yeah. Or you're going to be passed up by everybody else that is doing it and you're not.
Okay, so now tell them why you're called the Rockstar marketer.
I have no idea. No.
Oh, stop that.
Sorry, I've got a cough. I said to God, please God, and whoever you all believe in, please God, I can't get sick for the next 3 weeks. I have a boot camp, I got to go on this trip, and I got to speak at Joe Polish's event. And I said, you can get me sick on October 7th, I'm fine. Of course, today's October 7th, I feel like crap. You know, be careful what you throw out there. So, you know,
and in all honesty, when you work really hard, your immune system overworks, and then as soon as you relax, boom.
Bam, that's what just happened to me. So 2 weeks out of college, I got a job at the Westbury Music Fair in Long Island, New York, as a runner backstage. To make a really long story short, Air Supply, the band, came into town, loved my work ethic, and took me away, and I toured with Air Supply for 6.5 years as their band assistant. Then the security guard for Air Supply became the manager of Guns N' Roses, and he says, you ready to go back on the road? I'm like, what do I have to do? He said, you have to babysit Axl Rose. And I'm thinking, okay, that sounds very interesting. So I did that, and I toured with Guns N' Roses for 4 years. So I toured with Air Supply for 6 years, Guns N' Roses for 4 years, learned a lot about how rock stars attract fans. How do they get 80,000 people to come to a concert? In college, I studied marketing, and I have a marketing degree, and I was a creative director for an advertising agency, and I owned my own advertising agency. So I combined the two, the Rockstar world, the marketing world, and I call it Rockstar Marketing. That's how that happened.
And you know what? He does it like a rock star. He's up there. The music's like crazy. It's the most fun to go to.
Yeah.
You and Greg Reed are sort of tied for fun. I have to say this.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I know Greg. I just said to myself, you know, I used to do 5-day seminars, and I said to myself, I really don't want to bore people for 5 days. So I made a concerted effort. You know, I saw Guns N' Roses. How do you get people excited? You know, so I just said, I'm going to be that with business. And just have fun. And yeah, my seminars are a lot of fun, and they go very, very fast, and it's good. And I just spoke at Joe Polish's event in front of 360 people that paid like $25,000 each to go, and it was amazing. It was such a great experience. It was a really good event.
So fun. Okay, so I have 3 questions I ask everyone, but there's 2 things I want to hit on first before we get to them. One is, I want you to know that I got your book about the whole Guns N' Roses experience. Yeah. I've never gotten to read it because all of my band members, they keep on passing it around, and so they love it. So you might as well tell people the name of that book.
It's called Welcome to My Jungle. They had a hit song, Welcome to the Jungle. This one's called Welcome to My Jungle. And it was just funny and interesting stories that happened on the road with Guns N' Roses. It's not a tell-all book. They're still friends of mine, you know, so it's just funny things that happened on the road. And it's a fun read. Okay.
And then I thought, just before we get to those 3 questions that everybody's answered, I'm pumping them up, and they're really very.
Yeah. Ready. I don't even know what they are.
But you have another thing you do I love is you talk about very strange and unusual ways to market, which is a way of lightening people up and helping them think outside of the box and just keeping it fun. So, want to tell maybe 2?
Yeah. And the reason why I do this, like you just said, so I spoke at this really high-end event, people that make a ton of money, and I had numerous people come up to me because my topic for this 10-minute talk, it was just a 10-minute quick talk, was Rockstar business cards. And I shared with these people that have a ton of money, 6 books that you could write tonight. And one of them was a quotes book. If you're a leadership person, you could write 50 of your favorite quotes and give the person credit who wrote the quote and just put it in a book and spit it out tomorrow, a little 64-page book, and hand that out instead of a business card. So that, I said that during my talk. And all these other people are doing like deep stuff, like this unbelievably great content. The most effective message they walked out of that seminar with was my stupid little idea on writing a quotes book. And I look at that going, you've got to be kidding. I was almost embarrassed to say that one little thing. Sorry, hold on. Forgot to turn off my phone. Say that one little thing. I was embarrassed to say that one little thing, yet that became the most important thing they learned that weekend, which was crazy. So I shared with them some outside the box things, and I'll do this. Let's see, I have 250 of them. I will give you, so direct mail pieces. So instead of just sending direct mail pieces like postcards, sorry, I'm just gonna hide this because I know it's gonna ring, I'm so sorry. Stop calling me. So instead of sending out postcards, large postcards, which a lot of people do, I send out envelopes. And on the envelopes, I put their address, like so John Smith and his address, and then my return address. And it's just a regular envelope, white envelope, and I send it and it's empty. There's nothing in the envelope. So what I do, I send this out, and in the return address, I put my telephone number so they can call me if they get this letter. So they open the letter, it's empty, and curiosity is like, oh my gosh, what was in that letter? So what they end up doing is looking at the return address, they see my telephone number, they call me and they say, Craig Duswalt, my name is John Smith. I just got this envelope and there's nothing in it. So I was just curious what was in it. And I say, actually nothing was in it. I just wanted to talk to you about my Rockstar Marketing Bootcamp coming up, da-da-da. And if they get, the 2 things happen. One, they get mad at me because I just tricked them. And I'm like, I say to them, dude, you called me, I didn't call you, you know? And then the second one is they appreciate the cleverness of this and they say, wow, I'd like to work with you and learn more. So that's what I send out, empty envelopes to direct mail pieces. And then
so great. I love that so much. And that's probably who's calling you right now. Go on.
This was happening so fast I forgot to shut off my phone. I apologize. But you know what? We're real. We're real, right? We're being real. This is happening. And then the second one is, let's see, I want to give a good one. So when you write books, this is kind of funny actually. When I tell people to write books, I tell them now, in the acknowledgement section, list like, go back to kindergarten, 1st grade, everyone you've ever met in your life, and you put their name in the acknowledgement section and say, I would like to thank these following people. And you list every person you've ever met in your life. And then you send them an email or you find them on Facebook and say, hey, I just dedicated my book and you were one of the names that had such an impact in my life. And what happens is they buy like 10 copies because they've never been in a book before. So they buy the copies for their family, friends, and everybody. And so this is how you make a lot of book sales, because you've thanked the world and they all buy the book. So
okay.
It's just.
So I got to tell you, Craig, so I heard you, when I was at your first boot camp, you mentioned that, well, not your first, my first.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, rolling my eyes in my mind, thinking, oh, that wouldn't work on me. And so guess what? Someone did it.
Right.
Someone did it. It's like a list of names at the back. And I found myself reading and looking for my name. And I'm like, oh, that Craig.
Yeah. I love it. But here, so I have like 250 of these type of ideas. And what they told me, because I shared with them some at this very, very high-end event, and they told me, they walked up to me, a lot of them, and said, you know what, I don't know if I would do any of these things that you said, because I just don't know if I'm that bold to do any of this. But it got me thinking like, wow, how could I do something different? And that's why I do this. It makes people, they might not do exactly what I say, but they'll think, all right, I'm not going to do that. But there's something else along those lines that I could do that might be a little edgy, and that's the purpose of this: getting people to think and use their brains.
Well, and the truth is, as far as how your brain works, it notices what's different. That
Yeah.
is what the brain does. So when you're sitting there and you're teaching deeper, 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 if it's too linear and it's going to, they're going to go, and they can't follow. But the second you do one of these or a bunch of these, then they're so different. That's what's remembered. And that's why that was the one at that great big event that they remembered. It's very cool.
I know.
It's awesome. Obviously, you know your stuff. Obviously, you're good. I want people to make sure they check you out, and we'll get your info at the very end. But here's your 3 questions. Question number 1.
I'm ready.
What's your you ready? Okay, thinking cap on. What's your definition of leadership?
People that do instead of just say.
Nice. A soundbite too. Well done. Most people give me 10 minutes on that. That was good.
I know, right?
All right. What's your definition of success?
My definition of success is having enough time and money to spend with my family. It's all about my family. I do everything so I can spend more time with my family. Everything. So my definition of success is that I need to make enough money and have enough time to spend as much time with my family before they go off and get married.
Okay, so I have a question then. Would you, if somebody said, if you work on this factory floor and we'll pay you enough money for that, would you do it?
No, because I don't enjoy doing that.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so then my
nudge.
So then my definition, well, another definition of success would be then if you can sustain your preferred life by doing what you love to do. Because a lot of people, 70, 80% of the people hate doing what they do every single day, and that kills me. Kills me. So success, doing what you want to do and actually getting paid for it. There you go.
Yeah, that kills me too. I just don't understand waiting until you're so old to have a good time, and now everything hurts. Like, what was that? Who came up with that plan? Okay, so the corporations. Never mind. We're not going to go there. Okay, the 3rd question. When you think about your definition of success and your definition of leadership, how would you give advice to somebody who wants to do what you do and start on the path towards success?
They have to, no matter what you want to do in this life, you have to start somewhere. And a lot of people just try to make money, so they go get a job just because it pays this much money. But I believe in starting on the ground floor and being like, I was a runner at a theater in Long Island, New York. That's not what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I wanted to be involved in entertainment or that world. So I took the lowest paying job just to get my foot in the door at a theater. So many people try to make it killing right away. You can't. Go into whatever business you want to go into, be the ground floor person and just impress them, and then just stay loyal to that industry and stay there. So many people try to make, they get a job because it pays a lot of money when they're trying to do, they want to be one thing, but they have this carrot in front of them. They get a job and they want to make that much money, and then they end up staying there because the carrot gets higher and higher and higher, and they never got to do what they really wanted to do. So I believe in getting a job at the ground floor and just wowing them so much, and that's what happened to me. Okay,
that's great advice. All right, so how do people come to your boot camps, read your books, find you, follow you?
So everything is at CraigDuswalt.com, CraigDuswalt.com, or if they Google Rockstar Marketing, I come up everywhere. And then my boot camp is every March and September. I have a website, rockstarmarketingbootcamp.com, and there's early bird special tickets right now for March 2017.
Okay. You are so fun and so light. I just want to mention or state, because I haven't done this yet, and this is really the last interview, so life's real, right? You have all kinds of problems. It's not as if life never handed you any kind of challenges. Do you have any special advice just to go out on for how, because I know you've had some big ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just for getting over things, for getting through things, for making it real.
My whole life, I've been very, very blessed. My whole childhood, blessed. I got really cool jobs, blessed. And I used to think, you know, life is easy. And nothing was going, I mean, I was rejected numerous times as an actor. I tried to do things, didn't get things, but those are little things. But, you know, 10 years ago, my wife got cancer. And she had Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, and that just changed everything for us. It was now, oh my gosh, it could happen to us as a family. And it changed everything. And I always say this, you know, getting over that was hard, but we stayed positive and we did what they told us to do. And we did a couple of extra things, natural medicine and all this stuff. But we stayed positive and we just supported each other when we came together as a family, and we asked for prayers. And when we did all that, everything changed. We don't take anything for granted anymore. Money means nothing to us. Of course, it's nice. Material things mean nothing to us. But if I have my wife and kids and everyone's healthy, I'm the happiest person in the world. And now we know that it can happen to anyone. And I see it time and time again, people going through stuff all the time. But you know, you stay positive, and looking back, cancer was the best thing that ever happened to our family. You just got to get through it, and you got to stay positive, and in the end, you'll be okay.
Right. Make sure that you use it to pull your family together, not blow yourself.
Yes. A lot of people do that. You're right.
Yeah. It was great having you. Thank you for making yourself available.
I appreciate you, Lynette. And Lynette's going to be an author in Women Who Rock. Just check.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. I've been trying to elevate myself and right next to Forbes there, so I'm all excited. I'm going to write a better chapter, though.
I love that. Thank you, Lynette.
All right. Bye. Thank you, Craig. Bye, people.